Leslie here, coming to you from the nation's capital, Ottawa, Canada. Right behind me you can see this is the oldest jail in Canada. It was the Old Carleton Jail. It is currently a youth hostel, so you can actually stay here. It's one of the most inexpensive places to stay if you want to come visit the nation's capital, and it's just blocks away from the beautiful Parliament buildings, right in the heart of downtown Ottawa. Except I've never really wanted to stay here, and the reason I've never wanted to stay here is because it is allegedly one of the most haunted buildings in Canada. This was the oldest jail, Carleton Jail, and there's some interesting ghosts here. One of the most fascinating ghosts was the ghost of Patrick Whelan. Now, Patrick Whelan was allegedly the murderer of Thomas D'Arcy McGee. He was a politician who was assassinated here in Ottawa, and he claimed he was innocent all the way to his death. And he was hung in front of an audience in the sort of the courtyard area behind me, in front of 5,000 spectators. And just before the hanging, he cursed the very ground that this was on, and allegedly that's one of the reasons why it's one of the haunted places. Of course, his ghost is occasionally seen wandering through the building, up on one of the top floors where people stay. There's actually a faceless woman ghost who's sometimes been seen wandering in and out of the washroom area, and the most elusive and eerie thing about her is every time she turns to face people, there's absolutely no face that she has. When I was researching for the book Creepy Capital, found that one of the most eerie and terrifying things about a building such as this, I'm just going to walk around to get a bit of a perspective as we're doing this. One of the most eerie things about a jail like this is that you would have murderers, mass murderers, you would have pickpockets, you would have thieves, you would have people who couldn't afford to pay their taxes. And it didn't matter what crime they committed, they were all thrown into the same jail. There was an article I uncovered from an old Ottawa Citizen newspaper. I just talked about how terrifying it was for someone who was wrongfully imprisoned and stayed here. As I'm walking along the back, you can sort of see the back of the building. Intriguingly enough, for a beer fan like me, there's a bar here. And it's actually, I think it's a rock bar, serves craft beer. Interestingly enough, we'll probably talk about it in Spirits Untapped because it is part of this haunted building. I did talk about the building that you see behind me. I talked about it in Creepy Capital, and of course talked about it in haunted hospitals because in haunted hospitals there was a section on jails, because there was a time when insane asylums and jails and hospitals were all merged together, and it was a big dog's breakfast of the kind of eerie stuff that could happen there. But there continue to be stories from this building. One of the stories that I heard when I was on Ghost Walk here, coming through the Ghosts and Gallows tour from the fine people who do the Ottawa Ghost Walks, was some mischievous kids who were on the tour who refused to stay with the group and were fooling around and were messing around. And it was almost as if it had disturbed the spirits there, because both kids ended up with bloody noses for no reason and had never had bloody noses before. That's the kind of weird thing that happens. Up on Death Row, which is up on the sort of the top floor of the building, some weird stuff has happened where doors would stay stuck as if someone was holding them closed, and then there was nobody on the other side of it. There was pounding and knocking, and of course the echo of footsteps, and more eerily for some of the guests who stay here, the echoes and sobs of cries in the night from the tortured souls who called this their home. So again, this is Free Friday Frights, and it's Mark Leslie. This is for Friday, September 14th. I'm at the Ottawa Carleton Jail, and I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to stay at my buddy's house because it's safer there, and allegedly this place is not haunted, except maybe by laughter, good times, cheers, whoops, and beers. Again, thanks for joining Mark Leslie on Free Friday Frights. I'm now going to enjoy some beers in the downtown Ottawa area. Hope you have a fantastic Friday and a wonderful weekend.